So, hello and welcome to my next chess video. This time I show you the game between Fritz 14 versus Monarch 1.7, and I let them play this opening. Some kind of Reti, and it transposed to some kind of English opening with a double fianchetto, or not double fianchetto. Both sides were fianchettoing their bishops. This was the given opening position, and the first move calculated by Deep Fritz 14 was c4, and let's see what we get there. d5 is an option when you can take and play the move knight c6, add some pressure to this knight here, but then you can go c6, e4, knight here, and e4. I don't know, giving white this strong center seems not right to me, but okay, we have the move d5, and I would take c takes d5, and then knight takes d5 and knight c3. Yeah, you will get this e4, so that's why I would take this and go for e4 myself to prevent any d4. And now castles for example, followed up with, or even castles and c5 to clamp down on d4. And then, I don't know, probably bishop here. You cannot really go there because of this threat here, and now you cannot defend the rook anymore. So you kind of have to go queen here to defend this pawn. Also keeps an eye on this e5 pawn. And yeah. Now, what now? Maybe rook b1 or something. Rook b1, knight c6. Yeah, d4 is currently not on. Not sure what white can do here against this clamping position, although black is fine here with the bishop pair and very good grip over this d4 square. So, not sure what white can do here. So maybe this is not the best line for white. So takes e5. No castles. Maybe d4 immediately. d4 takes. Yeah, d4 immediately is probably what you should do. Now you can maybe even go e5. e4, although after knight g4 you have to go f5, weakening this diagonal here. Also bishop to here might be an idea, not now because currently the knight is hanging, but not sure. f5, knight goes here, maybe wants to go there, and now if black castles then you can get this check in, or even not even castling, maybe castles for white, because if black castles then you have this check, and black has to give up the rook here for the knight, because if this you don't even take the queen, you just give this double check and sacrifice the queen with this mate to follow. But okay, this is only speculative, so let's see. Castles, and now I don't know, either c5. Yeah, c5 could be an option there. c5 going after the center immediately. Now queen check, bishop here, attacking the queen, and queen there. Now this runs into this probably, although you can take there. I'm not sure. Okay, currently you are attacking this pawn, so maybe takes, now b5. So this might be possible for black. Black's position is fine here. So maybe not even knight c3 here after takes, maybe castles. Just castling, also Deep Fritz thinks castling is good. Followed up with knight c6 and only then knight c3. Followed up with castles and d4. Probably a position like this could arise. This also looks playable for both sides. Knight takes, and e5, maybe. Although then d5 and c4, but c4 loses due to this kind of tactic, attacking the rook and also the knight over there. So there are dangers in that position you have to be aware of. This diagonal here is pretty strong, where this bishop is. Also this corresponding diagonal is also very strong for white. Let's follow this through. Knight takes, and the line the sovereign gives is d4 here, followed up with f5. Clamping down on e4, so keeping this stronghold over that position. So if you go there, then you can maybe go c6, or not c6, but bishop here also not that great because of knight jumping over there, attacking the bishop. But you can go c6. You can go c6, e6 here, solidify the knight, play b6, c5, and knight c3. But it looks a little bit weird, or a little bit dodgy for black to play like this. Okay, we have to move castles, and now knight c6 followed by knight c3. Both engines thinking that this will be the continuation. Knight c3 followed up with f5 to stop any e4. Then you can go e3, d3 to prepare e4. Well, this loses a pawn due to that kind of thing, and now it's black who is better. So you cannot go e3. Maybe knight queen here, but then you run into something like this. So maybe you have to go a3 there to prevent this. Then go queen here, e3 and d3 and e4. Maybe something like this. And yeah, but a3 looks a little bit slow. And you can just castle or play the move e5 yourself. Castling is always a bit risky because of that diagonal here, but yeah, you have to castle at some point. So we have to move knight c6, and so I wouldn't go a3 here. I would still go d4 to stop any e5, but then I'm not sure, you can go there, attack this pawn, and now bishop here, or e3, just protecting the pawn like that. And I don't know, black get away with it. Let's see both evaluations right around here. Both are zeroing that position, so it should be quite okay for both sides. Now the sovereign switched into castling, followed up with d4 and bishop e6. But what about knight here? This is the first move I always see, going after the bishop. You can maybe take this and play your bishop there. But then you run into e4 and e5, so you, after this, You have to go there, attacking the rook, but you so kind of have to do this immediately. Pinning that pawn. Rook here and d4. Now, not sure, e3 loses the knight. So I'm not sure what to do there. e4 loses that pawn over there. And black is better. We have to move castles, so probably not knight to g4. Knight g4, knight takes. You could go knight takes here. After knight takes there, knight takes queen. Rook takes knight, rook takes knight. You could do something like this, but here you also lose a pawn due to bishop takes d4. Although white has some compensation due to the bishop pair, but it's probably not enough. So yeah, bishop e3 is a valuable move. So d4 we have, we're currently in that position. Let's go with knight to b6. This prevents. Does it prevent that move? Not quite sure it does. d4. Though you could take like that. Then you have to suffer severe kind of things. Bishop back, and now pawn takes here, bishop takes there. And it's equal on pawns. Both sides have the bishop pair, so this position, maybe it's a slight advantage for white because of this isolated pawns over there. But I don't think white has anything there. So, and if you take the bishop, of course, you lose this pawn. So knight b6 is a valuable move. Okay, d4 is not on. Currently this pawn is under threat 3 times. So e5, bishop takes c3. This is the line both engines are giving. d5, bishop takes c3. Yeah, I would take here, d takes c6. Yeah, I would go for that line. Queen takes, rook takes, bishop goes back, pawn takes, bishop takes. I would go for something like this, and then, for example, bishop f4. Stopping any e5, also pressurizing this c2 pawn. No rook there, and I'm not sure. Probably rook there even. And then c5. And this position should be around equal. We have to move d5, and now bishop takes c3. Another option is maybe instead of bishop b4, bishop c3 is to go knight here. Knight's again a dribble attack on this pawn. But now you can go e4. There's nothing wrong with that. Wouldn't go knight b4 because of e4 and this takes. Now the knight has to leave, and now not sure. White has gotten a lot for huge center, huge space advantage. The bishop there, white gets too much for this. So probably that's not the way to go. Probably d5 followed by a bishop takes and this kind of continuation. Yeah, we have this bishop takes c3, he takes c6, bishop g7, and bishop f4. So you don't do this, you play bishop f4 going after the c7 pawn. Because if you take there, then bishop takes here, and this pawn becomes very weak. For example, bishop here, rook there. Rook there takes, and knight. Knight here doesn't work, but you can go knight there. Takes, and now it's white who has a little bit better position. Because you have to take this knight, because otherwise you lose the pawn, you cannot move it, and you cannot protect it even further. If you move it, then this bishop there is hanging. Okay, you'll kinda lose the knight, but here you gonna lose a whole rook. It's not advisable. Clearly winning for white. So bishop rook to c1 probably. Bishop f4. Okay, we don't have bishop g7, we have to move bishop f6 instead. And this leaves the option, instead of taking the queen. Okay, we have b takes c3. Yeah, we have d takes c6. And now instead of taking the queen, bishop f6, this leaves the option of bishop h6, rook there. Okay, this pawn is hanging. Knight g5. Queen takes, rook takes. Queen takes with rook. Rook a takes d1. Very interesting kind of game. Let's see both evaluations right around here. 0.82 is the Fritz, and the Sovereign Monarch 1.7 is on 0.2. So it should be better for white, but for how much is unclear. You have to move bishop h6 on the board. Rook e8, and then knight g5. Queen takes, rook takes. Probably we see something like this on the board. Oh, wait. Yeah, knight here threatens to take this pawn with a fork. So, for example, queen takes, rook takes. Now you have to do something against this, and if you capture there, that's also bad because of bishop captures there, forking the rooks. So that's the threat here. Also, if you take this, then I'm not even sure. Then capturing there, capturing there, capturing there, capturing there, capturing there, capturing there. This is fine for black. This is fine for black, but I wanted to see that. So after bishop takes g5, you have to capture with the bishop, and now this one is still a threat. So probably bishop here, but then you take off the queen and take that pawn with an attack on the rook. So yeah, white should have the upper hand here. Bishop knight g5 here threatens to take on b7. Yeah, as I said, these two bishops, okay, the black bishop disappeared. These two bishops here on f6 and on g2, they're pretty strong. So let's go back a couple of moves. Here we are. And queen takes. Rook takes and rook here maybe. As a try. Bishop takes, pawn takes. No, I'm not sure what to do there. This is not a bad. So I don't see how to continue this attack after you snap off the queens. Rook takes d1. Also Fritz is not sure how big the advantage is. Rook a takes d1. And now rook b8. I don't see a different move. But you don't have to take there. You can also play something else. But what is this something else? Probably maybe something like a4. And if you take this, then maybe something like this. But e6 is also a strong move. But then you can go back, attack the knight. And after all that, well, you don't even attack the knight. And maybe you can sacrifice here, but I don't really see that happening. Knight takes, bishop takes, check. Rook here, and then rook to there. Maybe you can do something like this, but I doubt it. So you get a couple of pawns for a rook, but I think it's not enough. But it looks interesting. a4. Knight takes a4, and no, not rook here. Bishop d5, h6. Here rook there, takes. Now maybe e4. Stop any knight jumping. Okay, then a4. Check. But this all doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right. So sacrifice something there. Yeah, rook b8 was forced, kind of. And let's see what we get now. b3 slower to prepare a4 maybe. Also, this pawn was attacked. So this is kind of sensible. b3, bishop g4. Going after this pawn maybe. Going after the pinned pawn. Yeah, and if you take there on b7, then this comes with a fork, forking the rooks, and if you go there, then okay, you kind of have to go back somewhere, probably to here, but you don't really want to go there. Takes, and now f5, attacking the rook here, now bishop there, attacking the other rook here. And now e4, trying to go e5. So white has managed to get something here. Probably not a lot, but the bishop pair and... yeah. See? Bishop g4. don't see this one. Yeah, after f3, bishop c8 or what? But this doesn't help you. Okay, if you go f4, then the bishop returns to g4, attacking this pawn. But oh wow, we don't have f3. We have pawn takes here, so bishop takes e2, rook dc1, rook dc1, and bishop takes there or what? Followed up with king takes, and now this pawn is under threat, and you cannot really defend it. Well, you can actually with rook there, but then this bishop comes in here attacking the rook. Rook there. And now a4, a5. Stop any b4 ideas. Okay, white sacrificed the exchange there, but for what? That's a question. Maybe this, followed up with that. No, this looks pretty strong actually. This looks pretty strong. The knight has nowhere to go instead of this square. No, don't take it. You could go there. Now this looks interesting. Going after f7, and if you do this, then takes, king here and bishop there. Attacking the rook. If the rook moves, then knight hangs, but you can go there. Bishop takes, okay, now the bishop is hanging on the rook, but you can take there. And now this pawn will march. a7, a5, so okay, we are currently in that line I just showed you. We have this bishop here. Bishop takes d1. Would have taken the other one, but bishop takes d1 is what the monarch thinks is a good move. So not rook c1. Bishop here immediately. Now bishop takes d1, rook takes d1. Okay, keeping this file. Okay, losing back the exchange. That's interesting. Bishop c6 immediately attacking the rook. Why rook here? Why not bishop takes there? Then bishop takes there. And bishop here. This is something to investigate later. Oh, because of bishop takes there with a check. Now bishop here, and if you take there, then you run into big trouble. Bishop takes here. King there. There. Check. No, this doesn't work. So you kind of have to go there, yes. Bishop here. Check. Check. You have to take it, and now check with the bishop and winning the bishop here. So this kind of line is interesting. This kind of line is interesting. Okay, and this is forced, I think. If you go back there, then taking here. So you have to capture the bishop and allow this pawn to live longer. But how to promote this pawn? That's not sure how to do that. Okay, white is better, I see that. But for how much, I'm not sure. Okay, we have something else here on the board. If bishop takes, bishop c6, Followed up with bishop takes d1, rook takes d1, and rook here. This is probably better than the other line. Now rook takes d8. This is leading to an advantage for white or what? Okay, I will go a4 then. Rook takes knight e4. Okay, preventing any rook there, but what about rook here? Check. Okay, the knight is also covering this square with the bishop, so there is no rook to the second. But you could go there, but then a4. No, not taking there. Of course not. Yeah, you have to go e5. Now what? Bishop takes, knight takes, pawn takes, and bishop takes here, going after this pawn. This knight is completely stranded, so very nice. Very nice. And you cannot... this maybe... Oh, you cannot do this anyway. Sorry, after this check, then the promotion is threatened, so you cannot go there because of... What? Something happened there. Yeah, we have this kind of continuation on knight e4. Prevents everything. Okay, check. And now you have to go back. Now knight takes here with a check, and bishop here, going after this pawn over there. Or even a4 first to provoke a5, and then take this pawn and go bishop here, attacking that one, preventing any rook coming there or rook coming there. And if knight here, then you can just snap it off, because this pawn will promote, and this is clearly winning. So the knight is unable to move, and you threaten the c7 pawn, and there is no clear way to defend this. I think black is close to losing there after knight e4. Let's see both evaluations. Yeah, the Fritz is on winning for white, and the sovereign is unequal, but it's probably winning for white. The exchange down, but this pawn is very strong with the bishop pair together. This is a very strong attack. So knight e4 will come, followed up with bishop d4. This is what Fritz thinks, also what the sovereign thinks. So knight e4, followed up with bishop to d4. Yeah, this is probably forced. Otherwise this pawn becomes very weak. Oh, bishop d4. That's different. Okay, it protects the knight. And if bishop ever bishop to here, then there is this e5 move. So this makes sense. So let's insert a4, a5. This has to be played at some point. Maybe. And now bishop to here, going after this pawn. Not quite sure. Bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes, and promotion. So this rook can never leave. This knight is also a bit stranded. Okay, we have this bishop f4 anyway. Now e5. Was probably knight check over there. Or e5 and bishop here. attacking the rook. Rook has to go there and then bishop here. And you see the bishop is covering this square, this bishop is covering that square, this square is covered, this square is covered, this square is covered, so the bishop has to go there. And then knight check. Doesn't really matter where to go. Although this loses this very important pawn, so this doesn't work. And you can go there immediately also. You probably have to do this. Bishop g5 now. Well, knight f6 before. Bishop g5 is what I think. Also knight g4. There, knight here, threatening a discovery to win the rook. So this rook has to leave. Then no knight there. Knight takes, bishop takes. f6. Not sure how to break this though. Okay, you don't even win the pawn right there. Although b4 takes, you still have compensation because this pawn is free to go. Probably only to there. But then this rook is dead forever. I don't know why I can never lose this, but winning this is also quite a challenge. Bishop. So let's see, king h8 and bishop g5 and rook to b1. What about b4 here? Oh, okay, this a4, a5 is not inserted yet. So knight here, bishop there, pawn there, knight there. This is the current board position. But a4, a5 can be inserted at any time. So a4, a5, bishop here, rook there, b4 takes, and b4 followed up with this kind of stuff. I'm not sure how strong this is because this pawn is also quite fast, but you can go there, preventing the queening square, b4, going back there, probably not to here, probably to there, but then still this one comes, and f5. What about this? Taking there with check, king there, and queen here, checkmate. Okay, you're fast enough with this kind of stuff. And of course, if you take there, then this will come instantly, winning the rook. But okay, now white has got 3 pawns for the piece, so this is compensation. So very interesting game. Very interesting game. Bishop g5 and bishop here, the current board position. And now rook b8 and a4, a5, this kind of stuff. And now knight here immediately is probably best. Yeah, this is completely busted for black, of course. So you have to eliminate this pawn and take there only then. And now you have 3 pawns for the piece. But I'm not sure if this is helping you. Okay, you have a check over there. You can go there. And okay, but a3 is kind of annoying, right? So let's go bishop here. Hey! Sorry. Bishop here. Yeah, a4 has to come at some point. a4, a5. So yeah, but this is still interesting for black. Maybe there is something more clinical. Let's see both evaluations right around here. Fritz 14 is on winning for, clearly winning for white, and also the sovereign Monarch 1.7 is on winning for white, or better for white. Yeah, playing the exchange down, but with such a pawn here on b2. Bishop d2. Bishop d2 is also nice. Maybe bishop d2 is even better than what I had planned here. So we are currently at that board position. a5 and now bishop to d2. How do you prevent... How do you keep this pawn? If you take here and take that pawn, then knight here will win the exchange back, and then it's clearly winning for white. And how do you actually prevent this after bishop d2? Do you resign there? Rook b d8. Okay, rook b to d8. What about capturing there? Okay, now the rook is defending. It's not really defending this square. Knight is completely locked. Cannot go anywhere. And then the next move is gonna be snapped off. And then it's lost. It's completely busted. Yeah. And the sovereign also sees it now that this is completely busted. After bishop to d2, this is an amazing move. In my variation, black could still fight for something, but in this variation it's completely lost. There is nothing to play for anymore. g5 is just desperate. It doesn't matter what you do, here it's all pretty desperate. g5, bishop takes a5, and yeah, this is admitting defeat. Yeah, very interesting game. Okay, we have this g5. Bishop here, let's say you go h6, it doesn't really matter what you do. Then bishop takes, pawn takes, knight here, rook takes, bishop takes, and you're just up a knight. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 5 pawns. So this is clearly winning for white. There is nothing to be done here. Yeah, this bishop d2 is just crushing it. Okay, we have g5 bishop here and g4 even. Knight f6, e8. Why the hell? Why not just capture here and go knight to d6, knight e8? We have going after that pawn. Oh, it wants to go after the knight. This is also very good. b6, d5 is just desperate. But what can you do there? Capturing here, capturing there, and play the knight over there. Yeah, you even lost a pawn, so this knight to e8 is even better than what I had in mind, because if you capture this with the knight, then you have to give up the rook for the pawn, otherwise you just lose a knight there. No, the bishop is still covering the knight. So why knight b6 to d5? Why is this a top move? Because, oh, it defends c7. I see. But you can just snap it off, right? Oh, if you snap it off, then the knight here hangs. Okay, but now you can go bishop there. And you still have to give up the rook for the bishop. So, for example, I don't know, you can do whatever you want. This queens, and you have two bishops versus one bishop, and you have two passed pawns over there, so this is completely winning. Rook takes e8, and yeah, this is completely busted. Whatever way it's sliced, and yeah, very nice game here from Deep Fritz 14, very nice. In fact, so I think I don't have to analyze this anymore. So let's close this, close that, make this a little bit more big. Here you see both evaluation once again, 7.80 versus 2.26. So white is completely winning this position. Bishop to here, attacking the rook. Rook f8, it doesn't really matter. Then bishop takes c7. And this b pawn is finally winning. Yeah, I will make a short break and see you at the recap. So the game is over, and I will finish my cigarette and then we can recap it. So, let's see the recap, and if you have some questions, I will ask Deep Fritz for the answer. Let's see how long they played theory. Okay, this is all according to book. c4, d4, takes, castles, knight c6, knight here, castles, d4, here d5, bishop takes, pawn takes. Normally it's played knight to a4, is a5 is the theory move. So let's go with that. New variation. e4 and then c6. Followed up with bishop there. Takes, and a6. Followed up with bishop here and knight there. This has been seen before. So let's continue with the game. We have bishop captures c3, first move out of the book. Takes, bishop here and knight there. Very interesting move. Queen takes, rook takes, and rook here, because this fork was threatened. And now b3, because the b pawn was threatened. Bishop g4, and now this amazing exchange sacrifice. Knight here to come. Bishop d2, and now it's really mad. Check. And here the sovereign resigned the game. Yeah, the rook had to stay back. So let's say, instead of this, let's say if the rook went back. Let's see, what's the winning continuation there? Let's ask Fritz this question. By the way, I had let them play without opening book or table bases. And let's see what Fritz is going at. Let's see. a6. Rook d3. That's not what the doctor ordered. So let's say king here. Bishop e3, attacking the bishop. If the bishop moves, then a6. And this is completely winning, because now you have to give up the bishop, and in the next move you have to give up the rook as well. So this is completely busted. Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.